Whoa, oh, oh, da 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 da, oh, oh, da 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 da, oh, oh, da 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 da, making our Christmas memories.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am going to finally answer the QA questions that you sent me. End of November to get ready for Vlogmas. So I have here, because I have to use my phone as my camera, all the questions that you sent me. I'm actually going to answer every single one of these because not one of them for the first time ever was inappropriate. So thank you guys. Okay, so let's get to it. How long have you been married? Is it harder after having a baby? We have been married for 4 years, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's harder after having a baby. There are definitely more spats. I mean, I wouldn't even say that they're really arguments. A lot of it's because both of us are kind of sleep deprived, and especially early on it was very difficult since I was going through chemo at the time and I couldn't really do a whole lot. You know, I didn't feel like I was able to really not take care of Ash, because I was always able to do that, but like I couldn't hold him as often as I wanted to. My body would kind of like go into spasms at times just as a side effect from one of the chemo drugs I was on. So I didn't want to like chance dropping him. But I'd say having a baby does put a little bit of pressure on the marriage, but if you two are still committed to each other and your parenting styles are the same, you know, like you're kind of like in tune with how you want to raise your child, it definitely helps. You know, thankfully Andy and I have that going for us, and it could be a challenge. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like it can really be a challenge. You know, you're so used to doing things, and you know, whenever you have a baby, obviously they come first before your needs. So you just kind of have to make time for each other, you know, like even if it's once a month, you know, have a date night or whatever it may be. And, you know, that just kind of seems to help. You know, that's what helps with me and Andy and our marriage. And we're still going strong, even with Ash. So it's just kind of all in what you want. You know, if you're willing to make it work and you're willing to combat any obstacle or any challenge, then, you know, you're fine. It's just a phase, and, you know, it'll pass. You look like your favorite music is pop. Let me be the first to tell you, looks are deceiving. I might be all colorful and bubbly and happy and just the total opposite for what you guys would think, but my favorite music is actually rock and metal. So I am definitely not what you would think, I guess, on the outside, like as far as like my outward appearance goes. But it's funny because one of my favorite stories I tell everybody is, it would have been 2019, so Easter of 2019. Andy and I were going to his parents' house for Easter dinner, and we're driving. I'm in a really cute lacy tank, pink, it was peach, not pink, like peach dress, just going ham to Popular Monster from Falling in Reverse. And, you know, one of the comments Andy made was, "You are not dressed to be listening to this right now." And it was just like so funny. But yeah, I listen to a little bit of everything, but rock and metal are definitely like my go-to, even whenever I'm in like a good mood. Was your son born on his due date? He was not. His due date was February 11th, and he was actually born January 21st. So 3 weeks early, essentially. I mean, he was just shy of 38 weeks. But no, he was not born on his due date, thankfully. What's your favorite Christmas song? It kind of varies depending on my mood, honestly. I love Mary Did You Know from Pentatonics. I mean, they really, in my opinion, have the best version of that song. But I also love My Christmas List from Simple Plan, which was off of their very first album. And, you know, that's just always kind of been like one of my Christmas staples. It always will be. And it's just kind of like, in a way, nostalgic, because I listen to like some of the lyrics, you know, it's like a PS2. And I'm just like, holy cow, how old am I? What movie is your Christmas staple? I don't know. I mean, there's certain things I have to watch at Christmas or else it just doesn't feel like Christmas to me. Like, I need to watch A Charlie Brown Christmas. I have to watch the very first SpongeBob Christmas. I'd say for a movie, aside from Christmas Story, because that's on our house 24 hours on Christmas Eve, like whenever TBS runs it at 8 o'clock, I'd have to say it's Elf. I just love that movie. I relate to Buddy so much. Felt like it's such a good one. So probably Elf. I'd say that's definitely my go-to. At least right now. I mean, that might change after this video. But for now, it's Elf. Who's your favorite reindeer? I actually like Blitzen and Vixen. Don't know why. I like their names. That's about it. But probably those two. I like Rudolph, but I mean, everybody likes Rudolph. You gotta be original, you know? Did you get an elf for Ash? I did. His name is Speedy, because that's the name of the elf I had whenever I was a kid. And it's been kind of nice because he doesn't really know what's going on. So right now our elf just kind of hangs out, just sleeps in the tree. He is loving life right now. I still have a couple years still before Ash really catches on and understands what this elf is for. So for now, I'm just enjoying it before the chaos starts. What's your favorite Christmas tradition? Honestly, probably Christmas Eve. Every year for as long as I can remember, my parents have hosted Christmas Eve. And it's just something that I really look forward to this time of year, just knowing everybody's going to be coming over. And even though I don't live with my parents anymore, it's still nice. Like, I still have that like excitement because it's like, oh, it's at my parents' house. So I'm kind of hosting it too. Like, I still feel like it's like that, but just Christmas Eve, you know, I just love having my family together. My family will make up any excuse to get together. You know, you can be like, I don't know, like, hey, I gotta hang now. You want to hang out? And, you know, like, we would all get together, and that's just how it's always been. So I just love spending time with my family. Why do you always wear a hat now? Because I hate my hair. Like, this is what I have going on. It doesn't ever want to cooperate. Like, right now it's not too bad because I did wash it today whenever I showered. But it just kind of does its own thing. I don't have enough hair that I can just pull it back into a ponytail to hide a bad hair day. So, hat it is. At least until it grows somewhere and I can do something with it. So, here's hoping, you know, it finally gets there pretty soon. What's your favorite gift for your son? Oh, we got him some good stuff this year, not gonna lie. I would say my favorite gift for him that we got him was a Cars mat. So it has this little Lightning McQueen, which he can't have yet because that's a choking hazard, but he has other cars that he can put on it. And it unrolls. It's like this like 4-foot mat of radiator springs. And I'm so excited for him to play with that. That's probably my favorite present that he has this year. Were you induced, undue soon, and nervous? Okay, first of all, let me tell you, I was terrified about ever giving birth. That's a really big reason as to why I waited as long as I did before I decided to have a kid. Labor is seriously not bad at all. Like, I promise you, I was such a nervous wreck, and it was honestly like the easiest thing I've ever done. So I was scheduled to be induced. Ash had other plans. So just kind of like back up a little bit. I had to go through chemo whenever I was pregnant. So the first 4 rounds of chemo that I had, Ash was still growing in my belly. I finished chemo whenever he was 35 weeks. I think it was 34 or 35 weeks. And then we were scheduled to be induced at 37 weeks. So we were scheduled to be induced on January 21st at 5 in the morning. I went to just my normal OB appointment, and whenever they checked me at that appointment 9 days prior to the induction date, I was still just 1 centimeter. But I had lost my mucus plug the day after, and they had told me that I could basically go into labor in a couple hours or a couple weeks. It's a very vague time span. There really isn't like, oh, you lost your mucus plug, you're going to go into labor in like 5 minutes. It doesn't work that way. It's not that fast. I'm like, all right, whatever. I had my regular OB appointment the following week, again, to check to see how dilated I was. And I was still 1 centimeter, which was good because that meant we didn't have to have any kind of medicine on the 20th. I was scheduled to go in to be induced January 21st at 5 in the morning. So at 5 a.m., it was happening. My doctor appointment was on a Tuesday. I was like, okay. Andy and I came home. We got the rest of the hospital bag ready. There was just like a few last minute stuff that we didn't put in yet because we were still using them at the time. And Wednesday was just kind of like our last day. I had my mom come over. We took some pregnancy pictures, and Wednesday was the last day I was going to be pregnant. We knew this because I was being induced. At 1:45 in the morning, on like the morning of January 21st, I woke up and my stomach hurt. I always get an upset stomach if I'm very stressed and like very anxious about something. So I didn't really think anything of it at the time. I ended up going into the bathroom and I basically just sat there like nothing. And I was like, okay, it's stress. It was kind of easing up a little bit. I think it was just because I was awake and like kind of like talking myself through everything. And I just laid back down. I was like, all right, I don't have to get up for another 2 hours. I'm going to sleep. Well, 10 minutes after I get in bed, like my stomach started acting up again. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm not doing this all night. Like I need my sleep. I need my strength. I'm already weak as it is from chemo. Like what am I supposed to do? So I went into the bathroom and again, nothing. I remembered my mom telling me at that point, whenever she went into labor, it will feel like you have to go to the bathroom, but you can't. You don't actually have to go to the bathroom. There's nothing there. So at 2 in the morning, I'm calling my mom and I was like, hey, I think I'm in labor. What am I supposed to do? We're being induced that morning. We're supposed to be at the hospital at 5. So she called, she told me to call the hospital, let them know what's going on. She's like, well, time your contractions. And I was like, I'm consistently 4 minutes apart since I woke up. So, she was like, well, call the hospital, go wake up Andy, let him know what's going on and all this and that. So I was like, okay. So I called him and it's like 2:15 at this point. I woke Andy up first. And, I was like, hey, I think I'm in labor. I know I'm scheduled to be induced, but, what am I supposed to do? And they just told me to go ahead and come in. Well, I wanted to shower first, so I made Andy help me shower because I was just like, I had so much adrenaline in me at that point because I knew what was going on now that I was worried I was gonna slip or something. So I had him in there with me just to basically make sure I was okay. And then we went to the hospital and I was okay until we were about 10 minutes from the house. And I started to get really, really bad back labor pain. And it felt like I broke my back all over again. So for those of you who don't know, I actually had a fractured back whenever I was 13 from gymnastics. So I kind of associated that pain with this because it was almost identical. It was just so bad, so bad. I'm trying to get him to go. And we got to the hospital. It was 3:30. the hospital, the main doors were closed, so we had to go through the ER. The ER at the hospital was basically like going through TSA at the airport. You had to scan your bags, you had to walk through a metal detector, and the whole time I'm thinking like, I am in labor, like very, very bad labor pain. Get me up to the floor. Like I'm like ready, like I'm trying so hard to be patient while not strangling somebody. But you know, like we got up to the floor, and I was at that point already 4 centimeters, so I was able to get the epidural as soon as I walked in, and I was like, thank you, Jesus. Like, thank you. So, yeah, I was supposed to be induced, but Ash had other plans, and 10.5 hours later, Ash was here. So it really wasn't too bad of a labor for me. Once the epidural hit, like I was loving it, like every second of it. It sucked that I couldn't eat because I did have the epidural. So Andy was just like constantly like feeding me ice chips, and we would rotate like a cold rag on my head just because I was like so anxious. And whenever I get like really anxious, I get like really hot. And so, you know, we were just kind of doing all that just to try to make me as comfortable as we could. But I mean, like overall, like labor really wasn't bad. Like I was seriously just terrified of the unknown just because I've never did it before. But it was actually cake. Like I'd honestly go into labor all over again. It really wasn't bad. I don't want to say don't be nervous because I know it's scary, especially if you've never done it before. But take it from me, who gets nervous over every little thing. It really wasn't bad at all, I promise. Okay, so your favorite Christmas food. Cookies. I love Christmas cookies. Oh, and my grandma's raviolis, because that's the only time that I really get them. And oh my God, I love my grandma's raviolis. I always help her make them, and it's like homemade dough. It's like everything's homemade. The sauce is homemade, and oh man, listen, it's the best. Favorite Gymshark collection. So my favorite Gymshark collection kind of differs depending on the day. I love everything Adapt. I love the Vital Seamless. I love the Animal. I love the Camo. Basically, give me any of those and I'm happy. I'm wearing the Peach Movement hoodie right now, which I don't even think they have a Movement collection anymore. It's been a while since I've seen that. But I could always like, it just goes with my mood. Like whenever I went to the gym and I filmed my glute band workout for you, I was wearing the Vital Seamless. There's been times where I basically just live in the animal print or the camos, and it's just everything with that collection, everything with like the Adapt is so comfortable that I would seriously just wear it every day. The Adapt, anything in the Adapt, I'd say you're set. Are you so affiliated with Ideal Fit? I am. They had revamped their athlete program whenever I was going through my cancer treatments. So I wasn't really posting a lot about it on Instagram because I wasn't using it since I couldn't. And they didn't cut me from their athlete program. Like I'm still affiliated with Ideal Fit. So my code is still good. If you want to use it, it's just Nikki15 at Ideal Fit's website at idealfit.com. The only thing is I just don't get stuff in the mail. Like I don't get any new product, which is fine because I have so much stuff that I need to use up before it actually expires. So I'm pretty well stocked. But yeah, if you guys want to use it, you can still get 15% off at checkout whenever you use the code. How are your cats with Ash? They are actually really good. Payne is slowly easing his way and letting Ash touch him. He still kind of like gets nervous around him because he'll still like kind of like throw his arms up and down, and like he just gets excited. Like he loves his cats. So Payne is like kind of hesitant, but then he'll let him like touch him like once or twice, and he's like, okay, like I'm good, I've had enough, and then he'll like go away. Panic doesn't really come near him whenever he's awake, but she'll kind of like rub her head up against him if he's sleeping and like walk past him or like sniff him. But Payne is definitely more adventurous, but they're both like really good with him. You know, like Payne had his tail grabbed from Ash the other day and kind of let out that real high pitched like Like he was not like in pain, but like he was like very uncomfortable, and made me nervous because I thought the claws were coming out. But he just kind of looked at Ash like, what are you doing? Why are you here? So, you know, I'll take that. But yeah, they're both really good with him, and Ash is pretty good with them too. Does Ash pull on the tree? He does sometimes. I wouldn't say he pulls on it. He's just more curious about it because it's so new to him. There's been a couple times where we had to yell at him just because he's like kind of like grab at the branches, and we don't want him pulling the tree on top of him or pulling the lights off or anything like that. I'm not worried about the ornaments on the tree just because we just have like the like plushy ornaments and plastic. So if it falls, you know, it's not going to hurt anything. But I don't want him getting hurt. So we're kind of teaching him to stay away from it. For the most part, he does kind of listen. You know, he doesn't really try to do a whole lot with the tree, but just because his toys kind of sit in like that general vicinity of the living room, he's like, oh, my toys are here, so this must be a toy. But he's pretty good about it. You know, he's learning. Sorry guys, I had a hiccup. Okay, last question. How do you find time to work out with a baby? You just have to make time. I've been doing a decent amount of home workouts. I'll do that whenever he's asleep, just because he's so active now and he's walking all over the place and getting into everything that I can't just work out whenever he's awake. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Andy's mom will usually come down and she'll hang out with Ash so I can work and go to the gym, which is pretty nice. But the other days of the week, unless Andy's off and we kind of like switch, like I'll go to the gym, and then whenever I come home, I'll get something to eat, have my protein, whatever, and then Andy will go to the gym. And you know, like we kind of like do it that way. But I'd say, you know, you just kind of have to like prioritize things. And just because you go to the gym or just because you want to have some you time doesn't mean you're a bad parent. Like, trust me, you still need to have that time to do what you need to do to take care of your body, your health, your mind. Because if you're struggling in any of those areas, you're not going to be a good wife, a good husband, a good parent. So you still kind of have to, in a way, be selfish and take that time for yourself. But you just kind of have to do what you can, which is partly why I still don't have my abs back. But, you know, we're working on it. I'm doing what I have to do. I'm eating right. I'm working out. It's just because I can't do it consistently every day at the same time for the same amount of time that I need to. It just kind of makes it a little difficult. But even a 10-minute workout is better than no workout. So prioritize things, basically. So that was all your questions. And I'm just going to go ahead and leave this as a QA video. So in the meantime, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on social media, and as always, I hope you guys have a fantastic day and an even better rest of your year.